Welcome to the What's Your Story podcast. We thank you for joining us today. And as you may notice, we have some changes in the show today. And that comes with my new co-host, Jumi. How are you, Jumi?
Good.
Are you excited for your first show?
I am.
Yeah.
I am very excited.
That's good. So I people may notice you have a little accent there. Where are you originally from? You want to give them a heads up?
So my accent, I feel that it's a bit of everything.
It's a very nice accent.
So I am from Nigeria. So I was born and raised in Nigeria. And then at the age of 11, my parents and I actually won a visa lottery to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And we chose Rhode Island.
Oh, why?
Beautiful Rhode Island.
The ocean state. Because you saw ocean state and say, whoa, there must be ocean. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lots of oceans. We had family members here already, so it was easy to adapt to the culture. So that's where my accent came from. So now I have a little bit of Nigerian accent, which Nigeria was actually colonized by Britain, so they taught us how to speak English. So, but I always thought when I first came, everyone else had the accent but me. I was like, I speak British English. And everyone's like, no, you speak British broken English.
So, see, people, I go to another continent to find a new co-host.
There you go.
All the way from Nigeria, we got you, Jumi. So, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard,
Thank
Jumi.
you.
So, getting to our guest today, and our guest is... Mr. Jarrod Tillinghast, how are you today, sir?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure. I've been wanting to have you on for a while. You just didn't know it.
Okay.
So we're gonna do something a little different today.
All right.
We're gonna give you a homage to your boxing career, a little bit.
Right.
So I just gotta test something out. So I'm gonna move my chair over here, out of your way, and I'm gonna try something out. Hold on. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, I didn't mean to boo you, Jarrod. That's not what I want. That's not what I want to do. That's for another guest. This is what I meant to do. So you see, I moved away because...
You give me flashbacks.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was any PTSD or anything like that, if you might come out swinging, so I just had to make sure. You're good though, right?
Yeah,
no
pretty good.
flashbacks?
So far.
So far, so good.
So good.
Depending on the questions, you might swing.
Right.
Yeah. So what we're going to do this interview in rounds.
All right.
Okay?
I like it.
Yeah, so we're going to ring the bell.
My fights don't last that long. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's only going to be 3 rounds, so that's not too bad.
Let's
Right?
go.
Yeah, first round knockout. We can't do that today. We got to go a little long. So the first round. So let's get the boxing bell here. The first round is going to be about your childhood, growing up, and your parents.
Whoa.
So yeah,
Let's go.
Let's do this.
Wow, we're getting deep here. Huh?
That's what I'm talking about. We're diving deep.
Yeah.
So you're a boxer. And I heard that you had your first bout when you were 4 years old.
Yeah.
Tell us about that bout, because I think that was a pretty good bout.
Well, my oldest brother used to get me. I was too small. I would try, but he was just too big. He used to just pound me. Mm-hmm. So then, my dad brought some boxing gloves home and moved the furniture. And my brother started getting me again, and then Dad held him.
Oh, he held him.
Yeah, he held him.
Man.
He held him.
It sounds like a wrestling, WWF.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, and then but I always had fight in me.
Yeah.
From as far as I can remember, I was always, I had that little fearless, I was going in. Even if I was 4, 5, 6. I remember they would walk in my house, and all my mom's friends would be like, "Where's Jarrod?" Because I was coming, I would bite everybody's butt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You're a bite butter.
Yeah,
A butt biter.
Yeah.
A butt biter.
I would come out everywhere, and I was,
Oh, wow. I'm glad I wasn't around you when you were a kid. It's kind of like Evander, Mike Tyson. He's an ear biter. You're a butt biter. Yeah.
There's been some bites in my career.
So you did beat your brother up? With your help from your father, right?
Yeah. Well, from Dad.
So let's talk about your father, just to get a feel of where your life was coming from. Your father, Jerry, he was a well-known enforcer for Raymond Patriarca, who was the godfather of New England crime, and him and his uncle Harold was serving a life sentence for murder for was a bookie, something like that.
Loan shark or
A
something.
loan shark, yeah, okay. Same, kind of
It's what
like
they
along the
call
same
them,
lines,
right?
yeah, loan
It's
shark, yeah.
I guess.
So, how was it like being the son of Jerry Tillinghast?
Maybe to people's perspective of me, I would ask that question to a lot of people because to me, I was always just like you and like everybody else.
That's my dad, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like it made me, I didn't come at with that. It just was like, it's my father and
Yeah.
I'm Jarrod and he's Jerry. Like I have a first name before a last,
Right.
Yeah. So I really lived my life on wanting to be me.
Right, and I know that was a thing
Yeah.
for you all the time, but as far as like growing up as a young child, I know that I think it was at the age of 8 said that you had your first bouts in the Coventry gym and he was unable to attend because
I started training at Joslin Gym with Jerry Macarone actually.
Jerry, my good friend Jerry.
Macarone,
Yeah.
He was training me. I was 8 years old, and I had my first fight in Coventry boxing, and Vinny Paz was the guest referee.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I had a couple of fights. I won both of them. Then I started playing football and baseball, and I kind of never boxed again, and
Right.
I didn't even follow boxing. It wasn't one of my favorite sports. It was just I just like to fight.
Right. Yeah, so it was basically a couple fights, and then you were just off on your own. You were doing other sports.
Yeah,
I
I was busy with football, baseball, seasonal. So I was, I didn't have time for boxing, so I wanted to play football.
Right. So it didn't. I can't imagine like how it would have affected you. I know we've talked about that, about how you used to go to have games and make good plays and win games, and you didn't have that.
Well, it's the underlying stuff. They see my dad for organized crime, and that's one half of it.
Yeah.
Then there's the other half no one sees. The at-home stuff with mom and growing up in different situational. Growing up gave me situational awareness. Like, it made me vigilant of always understanding my surroundings, and I would always watch and just some life forces us to grow up faster.
Yeah.
And we're able to adapt in situational, and I was always aware of everything around me. And
So it forced you to grow up faster than a normal. Well, I don't think you like to see normal because what is normal, but your average kid.
I look at it like this after I'm at this point in my life that, your mom and dad, they were kids once, right? Like we're their kids, right? They were someone else's kids, right? So maybe something happened in their life that they didn't really do the work on themselves to fix, and it doesn't mean that they don't love us. It doesn't mean that they didn't want the best for us. It just means that they didn't know how to
go about it,
parenting. Because let's face it, when we're kids, we look at our parents like gods, like
look
mom
up to
and
them.
dad. Like, how can they do that? Like how can you be,
Right.
because it's mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
And we put them on this, but they're humans too, right? And they've been through stuff. They were kids once before we were born. Now they go through life and then they end up having kids, and maybe some of the behaviors they repeat because that's what they know. That's what they're taught.
Yeah, it's like a generational thing.
Yeah. I was always the one that I understood that whatever I was or whatever my childhood had made me, or formed me into, whether it was a defense mechanism or not, it didn't defy me.
Yeah.
It didn't. Just because I used to lick my fingers all the time doesn't mean I'm going to always lick my fingers the minute I start thinking about it and the minute I focus on, okay, what's the problem?
Right.
How do I fix it? What's the solution? There's always a solution to a problem.
Right.
You just have to find it.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like I told you earlier with the 40-yard dash analogy, a lot of times people just want to say, I don't know. There's always a way.
Right.
There's always a way.
Right.
Well, as you're speaking, all that I can hear is choices. Choices, choices, choices. We are, just because we are used to seeing a certain way of living, it's kind of like that saying, like, we are an example of our zip code. Like, wherever you live, you become your environment, but it's not always the case. We can grow out of that. It's choices, right? We are always given choices every day. And even as a kid, to when you're an adult, you have the power in your hands to make choices. You can choose to walk that same path that your family or your parents walked, or you can choose to rise up above that opposition, or rise up above that, that defeat, that limited mindset, and not put the projection of other people around you to make you who they call you to be, but who you call yourself to be, or who God calls you to be.
Right.
So it's all about choices. And as you're talking, all that keeps ringing a bell in my it's choices. You made a different choice. You went to a path that was least traveled. You created your own life. You had the pen in your hands, and not a lot of people know how to do that, especially as a kid. But it took you to be vigilant, took you to listen, to have the vision, the eyes to see things, and have that forward movement to keep going and persevering.
And for that reason alone, I get on my knees every night and I thank the Lord for building me and putting me together that way, because for me, being tough means nothing. Anybody could, I want to be smart. I want to think. And like you said, people are so programmed because of the way of their life. And they become this, and they think, oh, this is what it is. And I'm a classic example. I wanted to show people that that's not true. So 6 years ago, I got sober. I didn't have a drinking problem, but every time I drank, there was a problem. So, I
get what you're saying now.
So, I didn't need it. I put it in my Rice Krispies because I wanted to, not because I needed to. There's a difference.
Right.
But it was, I was tripping all over myself. And, alcohol is the undisputed champion, and we do and say things, and I there's nothing good that ever come out of it for me in my life.
Right.
From long back as I can remember, every car I've ever owned has went directly to car heaven. One-way ticket.
Yeah,
gone,
absolutely.
Crashed and So when I said I'm done, I was in a situation and I looked up and I said, God, you get me out of this today, not because I'm wrong, because I'm right, or because of righteousness, because of what's right, I'll walk away and never drink again. And I got out of it and I walked away and never drank again. But the reason I say that is because one of my cousins had told me to try a meeting with her. Come to a meeting.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody was around me, like, they didn't know should we go to a bar? Should we go with his alcohol? Should we not? And they were acting funny with me. So I go to the meeting with her. I agreed to go to the meeting with her, and the first guy, he stands up and he raises his hand. He says, "Hi, I'm Al, and I'm an alcoholic."
Was his name Alcoholic?
Yeah. that one.
Wah.
Well,
That's my own side effect.
But as soon as he said, "Hi, I'm Al, and I'm an alcoholic," it was like, ouch. I felt like it was like, don't speak negatively about yourself.
Labeling yourself, right?
The body don't know the difference, Don't speak negative. And for me, I was like, no, I didn't. And so the next guy gets up and I am an alcoholic. And I'm like, well, if you label yourself that means everything's going to be a trigger to you. Because you said what you said it out, you spoke it. And now you can't go to the bar. You can't do this because it's a trigger, and everything turns into triggers. And I'm like, what is going on with all this? It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So when I left the meeting right away, I didn't bother staying. I get up and I leave, and I was like, nah, this ain't for me. I called my friend Mike Barone, who owned the bar, who owned Sierra Lounge. And I said, Mike, I want a job.
Now,
Wow.
I'm no...
It's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
We're trying to break free from
that's right.
that limitation.
That's right. I said, Mike, I want a job. He said, you're crazy. I said, I said, yeah, tell me something we don't know. He said, all right, come down Thursday night. So I never bartended, and his family took me in, and they were teaching me, and I was the only sober bartender on the East Coast for a year straight.
Now, I'm no...
That's awesome.
I went right back in the fire.
Right.
Why am I gonna? We can't.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? We gotta go after the things that are supposed to break us, that are meant to shake us.
Yes.
We can't run from them. We don't put a Band-Aid on anything. Go in there and handle it. And then that's kind of how I jump in.
And 100% of substance abuse counselors have said, not a good idea. Not a good idea. 100%.
100%.
But it's funny you said that, because typically we would want to run away from our opposition, right? And especially with the fighting too. Like when you're fighting, you're in the battle, and we go through fights in life too. Typically, ideally, want to run away from the pain, but once you submerge yourself in the pain, that's when you rise above. Ooh,
Rise up.
You rise up.
Rise up.
That's where the blessing
Rise
is.
up.
That's where the God
Absolutely.
comes in and gives you that strength you don't know you have.
That's it.
That basement strength.
Yeah.
That's not from lifting weights. You can't get that stuff lifting
No.
weights. That's
Yeah.
in the gut. That's what God gifts us with. Whether or not we tap into it, that's another question. You know, there's a lot of things that we have to get by in our mind, because our mind is telling us. And the other thing, the enemy captures our thoughts. If we're not protecting our thoughts, right? How many times we think about something that is connected to something negative, or someone passing away, or a job we don't get, and we think about, where does it bring us? It brings us in the same rabbit hole that always brings us.
Get
right?
that victim mentality. and,
Yes,
yeah.
we bring ourselves in rabbit holes, right? That's what the enemy wants us, right? He keeps us in the rabbit hole, so he captures our thoughts.
Right.
I heard that 2 days before Dad passing, how important it was to protect our thoughts. And me, I'm a brainiac. I'm always like trying to improve.
The mind racing type of
I
thing.
want to improve this, my understanding. I'm just a vessel. I'm just trying to learn. I'm in kindergarten, and I stay there. I've been in kindergarten for 47, 48
You never graduated,
years.
huh?
Never graduated. If I go to first grade, I know too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I stay back, and like this same teacher comes in every year, and I'm sitting there. I'm the biggest one in the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only way to do it.
I mean, true wisdom is knowing that we know nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah,
when you
and
think you know something, that's when you find out you don't.
Yeah, I believe in taking responsibility for what it is, truth. Right? You got to lay in your own truth. If you don't lay in your own truth, then a lot of people don't want to lay in their own stuff and be responsible. Everybody has an excuse. Everybody has a reason why.
Right.
Everybody's complaining and making an excuse at the same time.
Right.
So I say this to them: if you could go 24 hours without complaining or making an excuse, truly without complaining or making an excuse, it's not easy. I try.
Well, it's a habit. It becomes a habit, habitual. You have to hear yourself complaining to even feel whole, and it's crazy.
And if you go through the day and you're actually conscious of it, you'll see how many times you can't do it.
And know what the funny thing is, right? We'll be complaining, right? and then someone will come along complaining. I'm like, I don't want to hear you complain. And we're doing the same thing.
Right. But you know what I like that you did? You didn't complain. You just went full in. And you're like, yeah, if I'm going to test this to see if I'm really an alcoholic. And if I come back out better, then okay, I think I've solved that problem. If I come back out, worse than I went in, then I need some help. Right? So
to a lot of people, there's fear going into that.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I looked at it like, I look at it like this. And it's my mentality, and even if it's not true, it's what works for me. Nobody thinks I can do it.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks I can do it.
Well, I think you always had a chip on your shoulder, right?
Well, I had to have a, I had to, I'm not supposed to make it.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be dead or in jail, like, right? That's what the narrative is, right?
Right.
That's the narrative. He's a Tillinghast. He's gonna be, he's gonna do.
He's going to be in jail just like his dad, like his uncle.
That's what I heard all my life.
Other people's projection.
That's what I heard all my life. And they still do it to me till this day. There's departments, there's police departments that...
Till this day?
Till this day.
Really?
They come in my home. They walk in my home. They don't have warrants. They're not even
I
there
thought you
for
were
me.
past that, no?
No, till this day.
Man.
They come in my home. They're not even there for me, right? They're there for the neighbor. They just open my door and pull me outside and search me and walk in my house. I'm like, am I getting arrested?
Talk about harassment, man.
I said, am I getting arrested? No, we're not here for you. Because they're walking through my house, opening and closing doors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You're not here for me. Seriously?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. They but this is, let's talk about it, right? This is Rhode Island.
Small state. Everyone knows everybody.
They're just as bad as the ones they're trying to call bad guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's the real bad guy?
Right.
Who's the real bad guy? The guy that's going in because they can?
It's a corruption state, man.
That's right. That's right. Let's shine some light.
Right.
Let's shine some light.
I'm blessed to be here because, not everyone gets to be in a place that has opportunity, and we're all given opportunities, right? Just like you're given choices, and you wrote a different story for yourself, even if people still, till today, probably don't believe in you, but you just keep going and not looking back. It's kind of like an eagle. What the eagle, when a threat comes, it just flies at a higher altitude, right? So it's kind of like that. You just keep flying at a higher altitude because you're not looking back. You just know where you're going.
I've been on that sailboat. I've been on that sail. I look at it, you say an eagle, and I love the analogy. I use it as I'm riding my wave on the surfboard.
Right.
I'm just kind of, wherever it takes me, but I'm not getting off.
Right.
I have endurance. That's what people don't know about me.
Right.
My endurance isn't for this little 15-round boxing match. My endurance for life.
Right.
I got endurance to the box. That's where my endurance goes.
Right.
It's all the way there, and it's for what's right.
Yeah.
It's not endurance for the wrong things. It's endurance to put more love on people, to help somebody that maybe, lift another person up. How many can I lift up today? How many people can I help today? Or in some way, shape, or form. There's always, I never miss an opportunity to say hello to somebody. I never do because, you never know. So whoever I come across throughout the course of my day, I try to make smile.
Right.
In one form or another.
Right.
Good.
And that's doing God's
purpose.
work. One of the fruits of the spirit is kindness, and that's kind, just genuine kindness to people.
Meanwhile, they're coming in my home and do. This is the irony behind it, right? Because I'm Jarrod Tillinghast. Let's face it, the mobster's son. Jarrod. I'm a boxer. I know everybody. But if it was so bad, right? How come I sleep good at night?
Right.
How come I sleep good at night, right? There's nothing for me. They can't bother me in any sense.
Right.
I make good choices. I live good.
Yeah.
I'm a dad.
Absolutely.
I'm an example.
Right.
And too many people depend on me, and I depend on too many people. I'm not going to let nobody down.
So what was your defining moment what was that moment that you said, yes, I am walking my calling, I'm walking my purpose. This is it. This is the life that I choose to create.
I had a lot of those moments.
Let's bring this back to this. You had a difficult childhood. You were tossed here and there. I know, your father moved you, and you get transferred, and you were at different places all the time, and that's gonna wear on any child. And then you grew up in Silver Lake. Was it Silver Lake? And you had the Silver Lake boys, and you did I know. I read all I mean, you dropped out of school when you were 15.
Yeah.
I had some juvenile arrests.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. Like the fight.
Yeah.
So, you did some crimes, and you didn't want to be. I'm telling your story, and you're supposed to be telling it, but you didn't want to be your father, but you were kind of headed down that road. You want a name for yourself, but you were kind of heading down that road a little bit.
It was a lot of
Yeah,
I was going in.
Yeah.
There was a point where I was going in, but I made good choices. I'm not saying the best choices, but I wasn't the guy that ever stole anything. I didn't steal. Yeah. I wasn't the guy that would steal cars or do malicious things.
You were like Robin Hood.
I would.
You stole from the bad guys.
I would take from the bad and give to the.
Wow.
He was a modern day Robin Hood.
I was
boy.
Right. I wouldn't do anything else, and I was a modern day Robin Hood. Right.
You like that, huh?
I do.
Yeah.
It's not justifying. It's not justifying it. And I'm not shining light on it. It's my testimony, and it is what it is. So it doesn't mean that I'm gloating over it, because I'm not. It's just part of what it was, and I want to be transparent as well. So I'm not. I think about that today, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ring the bell.
Let's go.
Because we're gonna move on. Because he's blowing up my rounds. He's all over the place. He's talking up. No, just kidding. We're going where we're going, because I want it to be real. So we talked about your crime and your modern day Robin Hood, and a lot of times you would rob drug dealers.
Yeah.
How you did this often?
As often as possible.
Okay. Let's talk about.
Try to keep the bankroll going.
Let's talk. And it said that 1 year you probably made about 150 grand. Is that all collectively, or that just you?
Collectively.
Collectively, and you had how many guys? Like 4 or 5, 6, 8, 10?
Yeah.
As many as you could get.
We had as many as we needed.
Yeah. Okay. So you robbed drug dealers. Sometimes you pose as the police.
Sometimes.
Tell us about that.
I had a police car. Why wouldn't I?
What would you have? A Crown Vic?
I bought a Crown Vic at a police auction for $500. I bought a Crown Vic at a police auction for $500. It still had the cage in the back.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I had it was like the old Kojak cars, those steel Grand Furies. I had the light on the side of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did it up.
Well, I bought it like that. I bought it at the police auction.
Yeah.
It was a police car.
Now, did you buy it for that reason?
No.
Oh, okay.
But once they gave it to me with the cage and the light. It was like right up my alley.
Yeah.
The Nextels were popular then. Remember?
Yeah, I remember. Beep, beep. Yep.
So we'd put like a chain around our neck with a fake badge, right? And we'd pull up in that car, 5 of us. We knew where the drug dealers were in the corners. And we'd jump out on them and be like,
You were like the jump out boys.
Yeah.
Jump out and say, you're under arrest.
You're under arrest. Get on the ground and chirping the Nextel like you're calling.
Like your radio.
Yeah.
And then they just said, I will let him go.
Well,
I don't want to do the paperwork.
Today's your lucky day.
Yeah.
Get the backpack and get out of here.
Wow.
So and the reason I'm bringing all this up, because you asked about his defining moment.
Right,
So I think we're leading up to that.
Okay.
So let's talk about the drug deal going bad.
Yeah.
Could you walk us through that? Because that's an interesting story.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy story to me.
Yeah, this was the last of the hurrah. This was the last one where I officially retired. My buddy's been setting up this kid he'd been dealing with, and so I was supposed to meet him and get this stuff, and so I go in the apartment, and I originally planned on because I never used the gun. I didn't believe in carrying weapons. I just wasn't that person.
This was your weapon.
Yeah, and
The left hook, right?
Yeah,
It was
my
the
left hook. So I was very confident that I would take someone out if I hit him with the hook. So I kind of never used the gun because if I would put myself in a situation where I was close enough where I could get him. So this particular time, I was like, and I looked at the kid and I couldn't hit him for some reason. You know, he had another friend sitting in the other room.
Was it like cold feet type of thing, or was it just
it
your
was-
conscience coming out?
Yeah, it was like for that second, I'm like, jeez, I gotta hit this kid. I might like destroy him. Like, It was like one of those. I didn't wanna,
Yeah,
because I felt like the damage would have been serious. And so I grabbed him and I threw him on the bed. And like now the bed's up against the wall, so I'm like holding him by the head, in between the crack and the bed and the wall. And there's a big mirror sitting on the wall, and I'm like, I could see me in the mirror, but I'm holding his head down. And I look to my right like this, and in the closet, and as soon as I turned my face, he had stashed the butcher knife under the bed. The thing was like this long, and he grabs a knife and he jams it behind his head. And I had just turned my face, and it came like right here and stuck in my ear. And I grabbed his hand, and I'm like, and I pulled it out of my head, and
Blood must have been squirting everywhere.
it was like a fire hydrant. And I thought he punctured my eardrum because everything was silent. I had that was beeping, and it went
A
right
ringing
in.
type of thing.
Yeah, and I thought he cut my eardrum, so I pulled the knife out, and I looked at my blood's hitting the mirror. It's all over the place. So I kind of jumped on him a little bit, and I cranked him with a couple of left hooks, and you know, I messed him up pretty good. I grabbed his stuff and I ran out of the house, knocked out the other kid, and yeah.
Pizza delivery guy was like,
Yeah,
what
he was
the?
coming down the stairs, and I'm running up the stairs. I got the butcher knife in one hand. I got a big 5 green garbage bags on the other shoulder,
yeah.
and I'm just covered in blood. And pizza guy drops the pizza and goes up against the wall, and I run up and out of the house and in the car, and everybody was like, "Oh my!" I'm getting the car. I'm like blood everywhere, but I got what I came for.
Yeah, you got more than what you came for, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
boy.
So that was a wake up call,
Yeah.
right?
It was it was one of many, but
Yeah.
it was definitely. Sorry.
That's all right. You can leave it on the floor. Don't
Well-
worry. We have the janitor will come up after here.
But yeah, that was one of my, that was the last one, and
Yeah.
yeah. But out of all the people and the things that I was connected to, and my crew and what they were robbing banks. They were doing.
Oh, they were into the big.
They were like, I hung with some guys that were really in, doing heavy stuff, and I always went home. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I wouldn't
Right.
get in a stolen car. I wouldn't steal. I wouldn't break in homes. I wasn't a thief like that. It was something about stealing that bothered me, So I just would go home, but if we were robbing a drug dealer, then
You can justify that.
yeah, well, it's robbing.
Yeah,
but it's, you know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So then you met 31 years old. You met a woman.
Yeah.
Fell in love, and you were at a fight, and something clicked. You went to
Yeah.
a fight with her. Something clicked.
Yeah.
And what? Tell me about that
Well,
experience.
everybody
What
was
was it?
cheering for the boxers in the ring, and I'm like,
That should have been me.
I could do
That type of
this.
thing,
I'm
yeah.
like, I do this. This is what I do, and so I was, at that moment, I was like, you know what? I think it's time to jump back in.
It's a comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
No. I decided to come back, so I started getting myself in shape and preparing for that moment. I was 37
You were 37 when you came back?
36, I think.
36. So how many years were you out?
I was
of
out of the
boxing?
ring 10 years.
10 years, wow.
Yeah, 9, 10 years I was out with an injury.
Okay.
So I came back and they put me in a fight with
Oh, now was the injury, was that the car accident?
yeah.
Okay, you got in a car accident and got pretty, is your arm, right?
Yep.
And so you that clicked, you went back training and you fought some fights and you won.
Yeah.
Stayed undefeated, right?
Stayed undefeated. Had a couple of fights, and then, the ex-in-laws wanted me to go back to school and get my degree. So I went back to school and I got my bachelor's in secondary education.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah. See, they wouldn't know that either, right?
What's that?
You wouldn't know that either, right?
I didn't know that.
No, did you?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I know everything, Jarrod. I'm just letting you talk. You know what I'm saying? I know everything, but you need to tell, not me.
Yeah.
I've told enough. But so you got your bachelor's degree in secondary.
Yeah, and
education.
I would never use it now anyway because
It's an accomplishment.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. The way the world is today, I don't drink Kool-Aid. I don't drink the Kool-Aid, so I couldn't be that because
You need to be your own man type of thing, right?
I don't. Yeah, this what they're doing in this world today. I'm not.
Yeah.
I never will be.
Yeah.
They created new narratives and
School system.
everything. It's the swamp.
Yeah.
They created it, and I don't go by people's narratives. I go by his narrative.
Absolutely.
It's the only narrative I follow. The 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Those are the rules to live by, not what everybody else is doing. I don't know nothing about that.
Absolutely. So you left boxing, and you got pressure from your in-laws.
Yeah.
And you went through, at the time, you went through a divorce. Now, you had your 2 children with her?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you went through a divorce, and it was pretty bad divorce.
It was,
any divorce is bad.
Any divorce is bad, right? What divorce, what?
Jared, I've been there 2 times. I
Yeah.
know. You know, twice. Hey, third time's a charm. We'll talk about that later. This is your story, not Sal's story, okay?
Sal, yeah. You're going to be in the hot seat next.
Yeah, right?
Twice.
Good divorce
Are you
twice.
married?
No.
Single?
Single and a lone wolf.
A lone wolf. Like me.
Yeah.
Like me. Single and a lone wolf. That's, I mean, I really embrace, all my life, Sal, I had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
16 years old. I had a girl for 16 years until then at the end of that, I met my wife, and then I went and got married. And I was in another relationship for 13 years.
Yeah.
Our relationship, out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
I don't mean it like I'm against a relationship. What I'm saying is that there's emotional boundaries that I didn't know about before. There's a lot that comes with it.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a job.
It's sacrifice.
It is.
It is. But I mean, it goes both ways, and if both people are willing to sacrifice, it can work out great.
Yeah.
But you have to two people have to be on board. So
I'm not against I'm not against one at all.
Yes.
I'm happy.
Okay. So that led you to the drinking, which led you to the bartending, which led you to say I'm done drinking, which was excellent, and that's great. So let's talk about your children, because we've talked about your children, and the apple of your eyes.
They changed the game for me.
Yeah.
They changed the game for me. Just
Julian and Sebastian,
and
right?
Julian,
Yeah.
my 2 aces.
Mm-hmm. They got some hair going on over there. We're gonna put a picture in the podcast.
Yeah.
We'll put it in there.
They're
but
amazing.
Tell me about them.
They're amazing little boys. They're brilliant. They're smart. They're polite. Beautiful. They're athletic. I'm so blessed. I just kind of, because all we have is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right.
All we have is the moment. And
Right.
when I'm with them, I'm always like, I'm in the moment with them. So, and the easiest thing to do is to be a dad. I don't know how people are missing it. It's love.
Right.
If somebody feelings are real. Feelings don't lie, right? If I say something that hurt your feelings,
Yeah.
and I walk out of the room and go to the bathroom, and you're like, why did he say that? You know? And then I come back and I'm like, oh, I'm only kidding. Come on, you know that was no big deal. Like, come on, I didn't, don't act like that. Right?
All right. Can't take back your words.
Right, but who am I to justify how you feel, right? So when kids feel your heart, that's it.
Right.
Sometimes parents love their child, but they don't know how to show it.
Express it.
They don't know how to express it, so they'll do it through gifts and then the child don't understand the father's love or the mother's love because they're doing it through presents, and they don't want that. They want the emotion, and the emotion wasn't delivered by their parents, so now they don't get it.
Once again, it's a cycle.
And now they see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you see where the work has to be done? Right.
Right.
The work has to be done, and should be more awareness about. Our mind is like extremely, amazingly powerful, and there's nothing I can't do. There's no one I can't. There's no one when it comes to this thing of life, and I'm all in. I am all in. Fears, no fears. I'm coming in and I'm coming out.
Yeah, we spoke about that at his gym, man. He was talking about how he's just bulls his way ahead. There's no stopping you.
Yeah.
And we have you have gifts from God but how are you using your gifts? Like, which kingdom are you using them for? You know what I'm saying? So that's why they were in the wrong place at one point in your life, but God sees that in you, and that's why He can use you.
And you know this is the truth, and this is a gold bar, and I mean this. Sometimes when we are living that life that we create, right, because of whatever reason, all of a sudden we're out. Friday comes, we get out of work, we want to go out with our friends. We're going out with our friends, we're drinking. Maybe this crowd wants to go to the strip club. This crowd wants to go to this bar.
Casino.
This crowd wants to go to another bar where there's, where it's dangerous, where people sometimes carry guns. And then you go to these places, right? And you do these things. And you go home and you sleep, and then all of a sudden there's like bad stuff happening in your life. You don't know what's going on. Like, why can't nothing go right for me? And it's not till you're sober, because if you want to really truly do better, you can't do it under the influence. It's just impossible.
Right.
There's no in between. You have to kind of really,
like you said before, you have to fix yourself. Well, we were talking before the podcast. We were talking about fixing yourself before you can help others.
But I mean, I don't say that you have to be. So for me to see it,
take the plank out of your eye before you try to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Right.
For me to see it, right? Yeah. For me to see it. That's what worked for me. Something might work for you. Something might work for you. Everybody's different. But for me, I was blinded by the way of life that I was choosing. So if I went out to dinner with a good night, a bunch of friends, we went out to dinner, then we went to the strip club after, right? When you walk in there, the women, trafficking women, or the guys that are selling drugs, or the dirt.
Yeah,
it's
dirty.
The darkness that goes on behind scenes when we don't see what's going on. We just la-di-la-la-la.
Yeah, and it's just a good point, Jarrod, because when you're living in that darkness, it's normal. But when you step out into the light, it's like, whoa.
But you don't listen. It's not like you realize that you're in the
You
darkness.
don't. That's the
don't.
thing. Yeah.
And then you turn around and you're always saying, like, why isn't it go right for me?
Right.
Why can't I catch a break? Why? And then you ask these questions, and it's like, whoa. When I pull back, I'm like, that place is like, walking in there, it seeps into your skin. It goes into your flesh, and you take it home with you, and then it comes out of your body when you get home.
Yeah, garbage in, garbage
I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
It creeps right up in our clothes with us,
Yes.
and we shake them out in our bedroom.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we don't see. You know, there's a lot of things we don't see, and there's a lot of darkness in this world, and we don't always see it. And people don't know they're in darkness until
Yes.
until they actually take that veil out of their eyes and they really see it. But it starts with them searching inside, right? So,
Absolutely.
but we are accustomed to our environment. So we are an example of the 5 people we spend time with. So if we spend time with, you know, the more people we spend time with, we become them.
Yeah.
So
And that's what I do today. I'm with my brothers. I'm with my brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
And
No doubt. Amen
today
to
is
that.
Today's a different light.
Yes.
I'm attracted to a different light now because I know the difference.
Right.
See, I know the difference. I am like,
Yeah. Discernment. We were talking about
Yeah.
discernment,
and
right?
choices. You're making choices every day. So you say, no. Those are all choices.
it's
You know?
they're all choices, but you can't make choices if you're not vigilant. The vigilance of your mind is something that never stops. It doesn't, you don't take a break.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
no breaks in this. You can't just put it on pause,
Right.
right? It's a constant,
Yep.
you know, so the only time that your mind is resting is when you're sleeping.
Yeah. And even then, it's not really resting. It's still going. That's why we dream. But yeah, I know what you're saying. So, it's powerful stuff. So, 2019, you opened up your boxing gym, legendary boxing gym in North Providence, Rhode Island. What led you to do that? And talk about the experience of doing that and how you.
2019, I was in rough shape.
Yeah.
Well, I was in rough shape. I was on my way coming back, but I also was,
You were still in the valley, but you're kind of trying to get out, right?
Yeah, I was crawling up, but I was financially in the rough shape, and I was just in, like, you know, still like walking out from the tornado with like debris in my hair all over the place and walking out like all dirty, you know, but I make it out. So then I just kind of started walking along, and I see this building, and I seen a phone number on it. I called the landlord. I just wanted to look at it because I didn't have any way to go in the place. I go in that night. I leave with the keys. I didn't know. I was like, oh.
Really? Wow, just like that. It's very spontaneous.
The landlord was amazing.
Yeah.
The landlord was amazing, and we hit it off right away. And, you know, he's like, all right, yeah. And I'm like,
Did you say, what am I going to do now?
what am I going to do now? I
Open up a porn shop.
said, right? Yeah. Right.
Not porn.
P-A-W.
Yes.
Right. So I said, what am I going to do now? So, you know, I was already on my you know, running my race, and I had called a friend and said I have a gym. We were gonna put lipstick on a pig and put a boxing ring in there because I had a lot in me. I wanted to fight, and especially then I was angry, so I wanted to get in.
Just give me a ring.
Yeah, just give me. So we were just gonna kind of put a ring there and use it to beat each other up. That was gonna be the pit, and so I had called a friend, and he hooked me up with another friend, and this guy came in as my partner, my partner Dean, and Antonelli. So again, God lining
it up for you, right?
God just was working. He was working because I was working on me, and I was doing things differently, and now I was open to see the blessings there. Because my eyes were closed.
I mentioned to Jumi, like, one of my favorite quotes is, I have a lot of them, but it says the fruit of the Spirit grows in the garden of obedience.
Of obedience.
So once you stop, being, God-minded and in that relationship and walking in the Spirit and becoming obedient, that's when God can work in your life, right?
Yeah, that's where he shows up.
Absolutely.
He's not showing up when you're
When you're going to the strip club. When you're making it rain, he's not showing up.
He's not showing up. And then you're calling on him, and then you're getting mad at him because he's doing something over here in your life. Or why did this one pass away? Why did this one pass away? And you're look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Right.
If I only known he was so powerful, the way the power works.
Yeah.
I didn't know the way. I knew how powerful he was because I always would. God, I'm coming. I'm just not ready yet, and I'm going to destroy my life.
Yeah.
And then he would pick me up by the collar. But my legs still going. He dropped me at the starting line and smacked me.
I know better.
Off and destroyed my life again. And this time I'm in a swamp at 3 o'clock in the morning. My car's sinking, and I'm treading water, holding on to a bag of Doritos. Right? Yeah. God goes. My soaking wet, my feet are going. Smack me again. I'm like, I'm coming. I'm just not ready yet, but I'll be back. Dive right back into the world.
No, we're stubborn. We're stubborn.
Yeah. Dive right back into the world, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
So, and
That's a powerful analogy because that's exactly what happens to all of our lives.
Yes. You go on a diving board 20 feet into the world. You're told this is going to be the best one yet. You go perfect dive.
Yeah.
And when you're going in, it's fun, right?
When you go in, it's like shiny objects are everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You dive right into cotton candy. You're swimming, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's great for a little while.
Right. Then the sugar and the salt start
Starts to become sour.
Yeah, you start melting.
Yep.
Right? And you're like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Right. And then we do, like you said, we just do it all over again. We don't learn. We just go in there. Yeah. I'm just so grateful that I describe my life as I've always won right up into the edge of the mountain. And I'm like, and I got 1 foot and I grab onto a branch because I'm going over. You got a lot of analogies, man.
Yeah, that's how
we do a lot of thinking.
Because that's how I can. I use a lot of different metaphors to get kids to understand.
Oh yeah.
In boxing, there's always a way to explain something. You might not understand the same thing he understands, so I can explain the same thing differently.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
visuals.
I have a bunch of different ways of explaining my point.
Right.
So if I want to make a point about fighting low, I'll use the Jack in the Box where I say, when's the Jack in the Box vulnerable? When he's up in the air, right? When he's popped out. The kids would come by, pick him up, throw him. The cat will eat its head.
Yeah.
Where's he safe? He's safe when he's
down. Right.
So I use a lot of different metaphors.
That's pretty cool.
That comes with wisdom.
Yeah. That's why my beard's white.
We both got wisdom.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
It's not white because I'm old. It's white because I got
That's
wisdom.
right.
God
Nice.
needs wisdom.
What does that mean when you start losing hair?
I don't know, but I know a good rule for
Stress.
It could be that. I've been through a lot of 2 divorces. But anyways,
2 divorces?
I told you that.
I thought you said you were on your second.
No, I'm done with that one.
I'm done with that one.
I'm 2 years done with that one. I'm working on my next one.
You'll
No,
be
I'm just
back.
kidding. I'll be back. The comeback. Just like you. The comeback.
Come back.
So the gym's going well, and we do a Bible study on Saturday mornings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's remember when we were supposed to meet, and I said I gotta go a little later because I was with Jarrod, and we do a Bible study.
A men's Bible study.
Yes. So don't even think about it, Jimmy.
Nice. We need to throw some women in there.
Yes. You can start your own.
Yeah.
You guys
It gets when you get women, men and women, it gets a little murky.
Yeah.
You know how that is. So, but we do the Bible study every Saturday.
Yeah.
John Del Ritchie does a wonderful
I
job.
love John.
He's a great guy.
John's amazing.
Yeah.
He just is, I like truth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm transparent. I'm about that.
Mm-hmm.
and
He'll give it to you straight.
yeah, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Right.
Oh,
You know, I'm not. It's authentic.
right.
There's a thing with authenticity that is important.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
And that, you know, you open up your gym every week for that, and that's a blessing right there, you know.
well, I did it right before I even opened my doors because I knew without the Lord in my building we weren't gonna make it.
Wow.
Right.
That's right.
Wow.
That's foresight. Yeah. Absolutely.
I did it before I opened my doors.
Wow.
My first study was a week before
Did
my
you ever?
grand opening.
And it's pretty cool. And we in the summer, Jumi, we go outside and there's a little nice patio out there. And we enjoy the
Nice.
weather. But when the weather's not so good, John teaches inside the boxing ring, so everybody sits
Yeah.
around the boxing ring. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've developed like a culture, community,
Yeah.
you know.
And there's guys that are walking by my gym and
Right.
they're walking by, you know, they live in a building across the street and they're walking by and they, you know, their heads are down and they look like broken. I'm like,
There's a lot of that around that area.
oh,
Right.
they're all in my building.
Yeah.
Because I lift everybody. I'm always, come
Oh,
over
yeah.
here. Come, what's
Oh,
the
that's
matter?
awesome.
Come over here.
Yeah.
They're outside. They're cold. I'm getting them sweaters I have there, and I'm just serving.
Speaking of serving, why don't you talk about some of the community work you do? Because you do some community work, and you know you're using your status and your name and everything for that.
I'm just kind of like I do a lot of turkey drives. I do a lot of like clothing drives, and we do whatever we can. You know, I don't think we're not limiting to nothing. We just trying to. I just want to keep creating and keep going. And I don't. I guess like I don't stop to count my stories or my. I never did. Even when I was fighting and I had 12 Golden Glove jackets. They were all in the plastic. I wouldn't wear them for a reason, right? Because I felt like if I ever put one on, then I'm already there.
Right.
Right. So why am I gonna? I'll look at all this stuff when later when I'm done and I'm like retired and I want to just lay back. Then I can look back and say, "Wow, look at all this stuff." And but to me, I just kind of put it on the shelf and I wait.
Right.
You know, it's because I'm. There's more to do.
Yeah.
You know, there's more work to do.
Absolutely.
There's more.
Win more souls.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. You know, I know we've spoke a lot about different things on your life and what you learned, and I know God has played a significant role in your life. What is would you say that's the biggest lesson you learned in life? I know there's probably quite a few of them, but if you think about it, what would you tell your kids? Maybe put it that way.
I think effort. I think effort. You know, it could be a bad day. There could be, but you know, if you show up and you give effort every day into whatever it is that you're gonna do, you know, effort will get you there.
Yeah.
You know, obviously,
The Lord.
but you got to do the work.
Yeah, there's
There's work
a
to do.
saying that God gives us the trees, we have to make the furniture,
Yeah.
right?
You know, before when I was really rock bottom, I went away to this. I didn't know where I was. I don't go away. I don't.
You stay on Smith Street in
I
North
don't go
Providence.
away. I was out in the woods.
In
Maine,
the
and
wilderness.
I
Wow.
was.
Were you lost?
No, I went away to I paid for something to go away to heal.
Oh, you had okay. All right. A
Interesting.
sabbatic, as you
Yeah.
call it, like a sabbatical
Okay.
or something. Nice.
Every night I got in the car, I was gonna leave every night. The first night I get there, and I'm like, and people are paying, coming from all over the country because they were broken.
Wow.
Wow.
And meanwhile, I had stuff that I was worrying about outside of the actual place I was,
You have to isolate yourself.
and then I'm isolated out in the boondocks. Like I didn't know where I was, in the middle of the woods, in a log cabin with all broken people, and counselors were there, and it was like God based, but it was like whoa. First night, I got up in the middle of the night. But the first night I met this gentleman, Emery. Emery was an older guy. He lost his wife, and he was just broken. couldn't
Yeah.
even talk about it, and he, and we became friends right away.
Nice.
So, I liked Emery. We hit it off, and I still was leaving. So I'm in my car. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I start driving down the dirt road to get home, and I'm like, shit. I'm the only one that Emery's got that we made friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you stayed for Emery. It was of conviction to not to leave,
So I
right?
turned around, and I went back, and I finally fell asleep at like 4 o'clock in the morning. The birds are chirping, and I just kind of like sit up all night long. What am I doing here? How do I get out of here? Like, I don't want to be here.
Wow.
All right. So then we go through the whole next day, and I got to go through the whole next day and pretend that I'm
Into it.
into something that I just was thinking about. How do I get out of this?
Right.
And then Emery's breaking down. Me and him talking. We get a little closer. Second night comes, I get back in my car. Second night comes, I get back in my car,
Yeah.
and I start leaving. And I'm like, why? I'm like, well, I want to leave. I couldn't leave. So I go back again.
Oh.
Yeah, and I went back for the support of Emery in spite of my own desire.
Wow.
In spite of my own desire, I stayed and stuck it out for somebody else because I wasn't sure if they were going to be strong enough, and maybe I could just be that guy that could say, "I'm here."
Yeah.
Why? So this was like, and then the third day comes, and I tell Emery, like, Emery,
I gotta go.
I don't want to be here. I tried to leave the last 2 nights, but
That didn't happen.
I didn't tell him it was because of him. I just said it hasn't worked out for me.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you think you got something out of this already? And I said, no, I'm not even thinking about this.
Yeah.
I can't even focus on this. I don't hear anything anyone's saying because I want to go and my mind's already made up.
Right.
So I'm not going to get anything out of this because I don't want to be here. Like, my mind is not here. No, I understand. I said, I'm going to leave after this morning meeting. So we show up at the meeting, I have my coffee and I have my fruit, and I'm sitting there, and Emery starts talking. By the time he was done talking, he was so hurt,
Yeah.
broken. I'm like,
Can't leave this guy, right?
no.
Yeah.
There was no way I could there was no way I was leaving him.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm not leaving him.
Yeah.
So if I'm here, I'm going in.
Right. You might as well.
Right.
Might as well.
Yeah.
And little did I know that choice to stick it out and stay was the beginning of my internal healing.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, because then I came home from there, and I came home from there, and I was like feeling much better. And Pastor Mike set me up with the Genesis program. Oh, that program!
Now, what is a Genesis?
Genesis is it was a spiritual program, just bringing you back to the beginning and dragging all stuff out of the basement.
Going back to the root.
Going back to the stuff I was talking about and what made me who I was.
The defining moment.
The defiant moments, the behaviors
Right.
that we develop
In our childhood.
from self-defense, from the way we the behaviors.
Coping.
Yes, so all of a sudden I'm all the way back at the beginning.
Wow.
Wow. I would take the book home, and I would be filling out the answers. And I'd be like bawling. My book was soaking wet. I cried through the whole thing. I couldn't even get in the group and read it
Wow.
because I was like, crying. I couldn't take it. And the counselors were blown away. They were like, whoa. Because there was 5 guys and 2 of us were transparent. And the other 3 were hiding behind fear.
Right.
Fear of embarrassment, fear of being judged, or fear of
That's a tough thing, yeah.
going in. Right? Because we don't want nobody to look at us in a certain light.
Vulnerability.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna teach. I wasn't thinking I was teaching a lesson then, but because I was going all in, and I was hoping once the ball got rolling, I was so in, and these guys were blown away. They even used my testimony as a
Like a PR
segment to teach other kids, to show them other kids. That's how strong my testimony was.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I after the first Genesis, and after coming home from the retreat, I was strong. I felt like there's no limitations for me anymore, because I did the work on myself.
Right.
You know how hard it is to even take 2 weeks out of your life to go somewhere and do work on yourself? That
Most people
scary.
won't. Most people won't.
Nobody's gonna do that. Most people don't, because
They don't. Well, part of it is they don't. They're scared of what they're gonna find.
What they're gonna find, and in time of it, nobody got time for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody got time for
Priorities. And,
life. So again, God taking me like this by the collar.
Excuse me.
Every time I try to leave, what do? He started turning my car.
And just the fact that you couldn't leave Emory, and just that conviction, and that was put in your heart by God, because you were doing it for Him, but little did you know.
Little did I know
For you.
I was doing it for that, and that's the beauty behind it. Because the more I do for others, the more that He works amazingly in my life, and my eyes are open, so I see it. I'm not going through life with my eyes closed. I'm looking, I'm watching. I recognize blessings, and they come through people, places, and things.
Yes,
Sometimes you never expect who they're gonna come from.
Sometimes you don't see it coming, and that's when you know it's the Lord. That's when you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's when you're like, whoa, right? Let's go.
But it sounds like, your calling has been chasing you for so long.
I describe it like this, and it's true to the core, right? Truth. Every time I would fall on my face and I look up, and I'm like, oh, I'm coming. Like I'm coming, and I know, like, I knew I was going to give my life up to Him and make that change for that. And the way He set me up for me to get there, boy, I was on my back.
Yeah.
And there's only one place to go from rock bottom.
Yep.
There's only one place to go. And I had a hand lifting me up. So I was coming up like a rocket.
Yeah.
I was coming, I'm coming, and I'm convicted that now all the work I've done on me is so much more to me. Now, people don't know this, Jarrod. Let me reintroduce myself, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said I can do anything. That just brings me back to I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? And that's it. That's it right there.
It's not my fight anymore. It's His.
Yeah.
It's truth.
Surrender.
Right.
Truth.
Yes.
Right?
It's a big transformation.
Yeah.
Truth. Let's talk about
But
it.
you went through the
Absolutely.
process.
Yeah,
You were
the
tested
fire.
by fire,
Yeah.
and now you came out and you rised up. You rose, and now
I was thrown in the fire pit, and then because I already been in the fire pit, how easy was it for me to go into a bar and tend and serve liquor?
You got a point there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now you see it.
Right.
Now I see
Right.
it.
This is where you reap the benefits from it. So I don't think I could have done it any other time if I didn't do the work.
No.
No.
I wouldn't understand it.
Right.
Now
I-
you're unstoppable.
I wouldn't understand it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So now I know the power of what God has given me. I know, like, whoa, like, you brought me all that way down just to shoot me through the, like, come on.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, this is easy for me. Watch.
Yeah.
Boom.
It all came
Got
together.
the job, and next thing you know, I'm bartending. Everybody's like, how you doing it? I'm like, what? Huh? You better ask somebody.
Yeah. That's
that.
amazing. That's an amazing story. Wow. And I'm gonna tell you, that part I didn't know. I didn't know about you in the woods and the programs.
Interesting.
I don't tell anybody that.
No.
I did that at a dark moment. It was very hard for me to stay there because things were moving behind me and on the side of me, and it was dark and scary and sneaky.
Yeah.
So I didn't know where it was coming from. To say per se.
Right.
And it could mean anything. But I just knew the enemy was working and he was there. So to go away from it almost is like, it felt like I would leave my child unattended at a city pool.
Yeah.
Out of state. That's how it was difficult for me.
Right.
That's why I tried to leave every night.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't. And then I come home and I tap into Genesis. Genesis was so amazing. I did it again.
Oh, did you? You did it
Yeah.
twice.
I
That's
went through it
awesome,
twice.
man. That's awesome.
I went through it twice because I want to lay in the stuff that I created in my own life, and I want to lay right in it. I'm not shy.
Yeah.
If I do, I say I'm going. It's me. I want to. I'm not shy. That's why I tell you, transparency is the only way, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
You did say that.
I'm not saying I'm proud of any of the stuff. It is, but it's my testimony.
Right.
Right.
And all this stuff has brought me to this place today.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But like Jimmy said, you've been tested with fire, man.
Yeah.
And God knows what He's doing.
Yeah.
I think of like Paul. Look at Paul, the zeal that
Saul
he
the
had.
Paul.
Saul the Paul. Like
Saul the Paul.
he used all that. He used all that, man.
That's what Rupert calls me, Saul the Paul.
Saul the Paul.
Saul the Paul. But so for me, like I say, it's always been about endurance for life, right? People might think this is like, he's gonna fall. Don't worry.
Yeah, they're waiting. They want to see you fall. They're waiting.
You're waiting.
They better get their popcorn.
Yeah.
You're unstoppable
This is
now.
gonna be a long movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
get
don't
the
think people
popcorn.
can change. They can say, just give it time. He's the same old Jarrod. Yeah.
And believe it or not, all the good I've done and all the ways I've come back, and no matter what I've done, one bad will ruin it all.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
One bad will ruin it all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we had to glorify God and His name, and sometimes we don't. You know, you can either glorify Him or besmirch Him, and I think that's what, like, a lot of times, I'm not definitely far from perfect. I backslide and all that, but a lot of things that I do or don't do is because I know I'm here to glorify God, and if I step out of line, I'm doing Him a disservice, and it's in the back of my mind.
yes,
Yes.
and that's why it's important to. Maybe I won't say that. It's important. I think it's important. You gotta. If you're going into a relationship, you gotta be careful of the worldly way, opposed to a God-fearing woman.
We were just talking about that.
Because it's
me
not
and Jimmy.
saying it's gonna be perfect, but the values are different.
No doubt. Right.
See,
Yeah.
what's gonna make the worldly go? The godly one is gonna say,
Look what happened to
Not saying it doesn't happen,
look what
but-
happened to David. David got warned in the Bible about women, heathen women, and it dragged him away, and that's why the kingdom got broken up.
Well, that's one of my issues. Always been.
Yeah.
always wanted to have the best looking girl. All this,
Yeah.
you know, it's for what?
Yeah.
For what?
Just like anything else.
It's that,
You know,
it's the walking into the strip club.
Yeah.
It's the, it
Feeds the ego.
sucks you up.
Right.
Yeah, feeds the ego.
Absolutely.
You know.
And I always say, woman, man, whatever relationship you find yourself in can either make you or break you. And it becomes a partnership because you're walking in the world together. So you have to be a team,
Yeah.
you have to break those oppositions, those battles we face. And it takes a strong person. I'm not saying physically, but mentally. And a woman can, like Eve, can change a whole lot of things for the Adams, so.
And vice versa.
And vice
I mean, because
versa,
if you're
too.
going to church, Juvie, and your husband's going to the strip joint or the casino,
right. Yes.
it's not going to work.
Yeah,
not
it's both ways, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just, I don't have it all figured out, and believe me, I don't. I just share what works for me and my road and how I've gotten to where I am. And now it's not about. It's so now that I'm like I'm eating really clean. I'm eating really healthy. I'm fasting.
And you were, what, 240 at one time?
Yeah, I was up there
424?
for
You're looking good, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm eating green. I'm eating clean. I'm learning about inflammation and and the right foods to eat, and so I'm like, whoa, it's another avenue for me. And
It's like the fountain of youth.
Yeah, because 48 comes, and I was 45, and I just was like,
Yeah.
and I felt like it.
Yeah.
you
I felt like 65
Yeah, I'm
probably.
like, what am I doing? And I was just no. So I started cleaning up my diet, and I really started focusing on inflammation, fighting foods, because I had some inflammation going on. I didn't realize what it was, so I did my own research, and I just followed the suit. And next thing you know, my endorphins are hitting different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
That's awesome.
It's different. Yeah.
And you, as being a boxing trainer and teacher, you have to be a role model. If you were like couldn't move in the ring and you're trying to teach your students, you have to be that role model and that example.
Well, I could get away with the students, but with my kids,
Oh, your kids.
jeez,
Not happening, huh?
these guys are so athletic, and it's that. Come on, it's football. But I am not like
Keeping you young and keeping
They
you in
get me
shape.
going. So I was like, let me start eating good, and where it's brought me now is, I think I want to fight again.
Wow,
Whoa!
nice.
You heard it first.
That was whoa.
What's your
See,
story?
that was my next question.
You heard it
What's
first.
next for Jarrod Tillinghast? And that's one of the things. So what's next for Jarrod Tillinghast?
You got the exclusive.
I know. See, you're getting back in the ring. But very considering it, huh?
I have 9 fights. I'm 9-0.
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong with the number 9.
You gotta get that even.
You need a double digit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think?
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, definitely.
Double digit. And my kids,
To see you.
they'll inspire me like I've never been inspired before to do a little something that I never did before.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because I know the stakes are high.
Yeah.
I'm not 20 anymore.
Right.
So in order to get something we never had, we got to do something we never did, and I'm a sucker for a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker
Purpose,
for a
man,
challenge.
purpose.
Yeah, if you say no, I say watch me.
Well, Jarrod, I don't think you can do it. Prove me wrong.
He's unstoppable.
He's unstoppable. He's the Lord with him.
Yes.
I gotta be honest. I have amazing people with me. I have amazing people and amazing friends, and the best of the best.
Right.
I have beautiful humans and beautiful hearts in my life.
Awesome. Who you surrounded with.
I don't pull. I know I'm a master about energy. I know about good, bad, dark. I keep that force shield.
Absolutely.
I go to sleep with the Word of God and the red light therapy, and I got all my stuff working. And my Cumberlandite rocks. And
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
keep my fountain of youth.
Yeah.
Nice.
wow.
Very good.
Now, how about the hyperbaric chamber? Have you done that yet?
No, that's next. I'll be sleeping in like a NASA made.
Come up like a coffin in the morning.
Yeah.
So you get back into fighting. How about, and we spoke about our podcast. You had a couple podcasts. We Rise, and you had another. What was the other one you
We
had?
Rise and that was it. We Rise. And,
I thought you had another one.
Yeah, I did.
But that was, we don't
juice.
want
I
to
did
talk
the
about
juice
that.
a
Yeah.
little bit, the juice, yeah.
But the We Rise guy, I saw a couple of them. I saw you had your father on there, and you had the boxer from Mass,
Mickey Wood.
Mickey, I saw that one too. Yeah, he has some good, and you do it with the Todd Chattel, the Hulk.
The Hulk.
So talk about you spoke about doing another podcast.
Yeah, Todd, my brother Todd, and my brother Ryan. It's crazy. Todd and Ryan are like, Todd's a really tough kid and first MMA champion in Rhode Island.
Oh, wow.
And he comes from a family of all brothers. They're like the 5 brothers. They
beating the heck out of each other.
They beat the heck out of everybody.
Everybody.
Each other. They beat up Rhode Island. It's funny because there was a time where there was, the Chattel brothers and me and my friends, and they were going through, they were beating up my friends too along the way. And we never crossed these paths. We never, it was weird. Like, how could we be in the same places, but
and never cross paths?
Never once cross paths.
All those years.
And we would hear about each other beating each other's friends up, so there wasn't no good blood there. It was always like...
like, if I come by him...
if I was they didn't like me because of whatever reasons. Not that I didn't like him, I just knew that...
He was the enemy at the time.
Not the enemy so much, but I just kind of didn't know what to expect if I seen them.
Right.
I never knew what to expect if we ever ran into them. And all my life, we never ran into each other until...
And now you're like this. Brothers, right?
My brothers for life.
Yeah, right. That's awesome.
The best.
So you're going to do the podcast
So
with him?
yeah, we're going to meet Todd and Ryan. We're going to start a podcast, basically... about what we were talking about, truth, right? His truth.
Yes.
Right? What do you stand for?
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of reasons for it that especially now, right? Everybody wants it's the same thing. I said it earlier.
Yeah.
What I say in the state about if you want to run for office.
Oh, yeah?
Right? Did I talk to you?
I remember you speaking about it, yes.
Whether or not you don't like what I'm going to say.
You said it at the Bible study.
Whether or not you don't like what I'm going to say or whether or not you do, it doesn't really matter to me. It's truth. So
you said didn't you say they were lying it right before?
Yeah, because let's face it, right? So you get these politicians in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
I'm friends with a lot of you. I love you. You're my brothers. Truth is truth. A lot of politicians in Rhode Island, right? They're Republicans at heart.
But they're running as a Democrat for the votes.
They have Republican traits. They like Donald Trump. They secretly watch Trump, secretly cheer for him, but they run as Democrats.
Right.
Think about what I just said.
Right.
The people we're putting our trust in are going into office lying.
Right.
Because they're not really who they say they are.
Yep.
It's deep there, right? Let's go.
Right.
Right? If we're going in, let's talk. Right? I'm not shy. Speaking transparently, right? But I'm not saying they're crooked either, and I'm not saying they're doing something wrong.
You got to be held at a high standard running for office,
You call it a conservative Democrat. That's what
Put that label
I
on
like
it.
it. But it is, I'm a conservative Democrat. Okay, you're a Republican. But to get elected in Rhode Island, you have to be Democrat. You have to be a Democrat.
Right.
So now you're drinking the Kool-Aid along the way because there's some Democrat at the top. There's always someone at the top, right? So if you want something in Rhode Island and you're not drinking the Kool-Aid when you're in the elites, you understand? It starts in the elites,
Yeah.
So if you're not drinking the Kool-Aid and you go against the grain...
Well, that's politics in general.
So that's why when police come in my house like they do, right? and they violate my civil rights, clearly violate my civil rights by coming in my house without a warrant, open and closing doors. You go to these people and you say your story, right? And they say, well, you're doing really good. Just keep doing what you're doing, and that all that stuff will go away.
And didn't you bring the police lobster rolls at one point?
Yeah, we do, but there's different departments.
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
It's politics.
Right.
That's why we're talking politics, right? That's why we're talking transparency, right and wrong, right? Not all the departments do that for me.
Yeah.
North Providence are great to me.
Right.
Amazing to me. They're amazing to me. They know what I bring to the community, and they give me love and they treat me just as good. It's not
them.
Providence is great to me.
Yeah.
Smithfield is great to me.
Yeah.
All of them are great to me, except why? Why do I get arrested on court-ordered, judge-appointed apps?
Yeah.
Who makes the call when the call comes in and the arrest? There's no charger. I can't charge you. And then the other one says, it's over my head. We got to charge you. I'm like, how is it over your head? It's a court-appointed app.
Right.
The judge gave me this. I gave you my phone. There's nothing on it. How am I getting charged? Well, the higher ups. Higher ups. I said the higher ups are charging me. Who makes that call?
Yeah.
He said I can't talk about it.
Wow.
You can't tell me who makes a call.
That's very, very shady.
Then a month later, they're kicking my door down, coming in my house for no reason. I'm not even there.
Yeah, just because you know who your name is.
Just
last
because
name.
because of they think they can. Because of the narrative, right?
Yeah.
That's with the elite. And now nobody wants to go against them because they know they're going to have to deal with it.
Right.
So they say, don't worry, Jerry, you're doing good. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, your door's getting...
Meanwhile, you fight. I've been fighting for my kids for 6 years just to get a sleepover. Yeah. What if that was the first night they slept over?
Yeah. Traumatic.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Where do they go from there? Where do I go from there?
Yeah.
Those guys go home and they go home and
now you're left with all that damage.
And know what they say? Screw him. He's no good. He's a scumbag Tillinghast.
Yeah.
That's how they say it. That's what they say.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm cleaning up the pieces.
Right.
More pieces they're trying to break in my life. Not happening.
Yeah.
Maybe before they could do that. You can't do that to this guy anymore.
Someone who's following that narrow path, they got nothing. If you follow that narrow path and
listen, this isn't
transparent.
I have
nothing to hide.
Yeah, and I want to be transparent. This isn't about me. It's about right and wrong.
Right.
Period.
Right.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I've been wrong most of my life.
Right.
I know. I take responsibility.
Right.
But you can't do that.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this podcast. When I will be tuning in and promoting it. When do you have a target date?
We don't have a target date. It's
in the works. Yeah?
Probably before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Somewhere before Thanksgiving. Depends on how one thing has to work out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's one thing that I've really learned in the past 5-6 years, and patience.
Right.
Patience are it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because you build up feelings waiting. So that's the danger part, the feelings that are built up and the patience that has to be. So you got to really stay focused on him.
Absolutely.
While you're being patient. But there's so many blessings in patience.
Oh, yeah.
That if you're not looking, you're not going to get them.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
now I pray for patience more because now I've already been patient this long.
Yeah.
I got the game now. I understand it.
Absolutely.
So now I apply myself more and I'm focused on patience now.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever it is that I have to do,
yes,
it's like, okay,
that's it.
I'm going in.
Follow your lead.
Yeah.
Let's
go. This has been awesome, Jarrod.
Yeah.
Loved hearing your story. I'm so blessed to hear it, and listeners and viewers are blessed as well.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
was
Awesome.
good.
And,
I was
and
good at
God's worked in your life,
Yeah,
man.
well,
Yes.
he's using me to work in other people and
pour.
show them
Right.
what his work is, and
Yeah.
there's amazing stuff
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, God's got himself a warrior, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Unstoppable
Yeah.
warrior.
so what we do here, this is
I like that.
first we're gonna give you a official "What's Your Story" T-shirt.
Yeah,
And
this
rock-
is like
and rock that. you can match me and Jumi.
you see.
Yes. Join the
You ever
club.
see Grease?
Greece, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is like what, a pink lady?
Yeah,
jacket?
well, no, it's the T-Birds, baby, the T-Birds.
This is official.
She's a
T-bird.
pink lady with
I
T-Birds.
know. But I mean, the presentation was like a pink lady.
Yeah. I had my pinky out. Is that what it was?
Come on.
And what we do is we have a book. It says "What's Your Story." Has your name on the binding and your picture on the back. And what you're gonna do is you're going to put
That's awesome.
take your headphones off first, and you're gonna put your name right above. Oh, yeah, the name, the book right above you. Next to Jarrod, your cousin Lauren's up there too.
Wow,
Yeah,
cousin
yeah.
Lauren.
So if you want to put that up, do the honors, and it's not a real book.
No, this is.
This isn't. Yeah.
What's your
You got the
story?
big. You got the
What's
biggest.
your story
You got
book?
the. Hey, you got the biggest book up there too.
Yeah.
You got the biggest book.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, you have
That's
a lot
pretty
of.
cool. What
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah, you're on the bookshelf of fame.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
love the whole concept.
Thank you,
love
brother.
that.
I
Great
appreciate it.
idea. Right here with the Bible.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at it.
All right.
Stuff happening.
Well, thank you, Jarrod. We really appreciate the interview, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. Be blessed and keep blessing people, bro.
I enjoy. You can have me right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I enjoy. I enjoy sharing. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think the more we are transparent, maybe we can rub off on people
Absolutely.
Right.
because we need it now more than ever. And
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is, at the end of the time, I know one thing, that I stood for something.
Right. No doubt.
I stood for something.
Absolutely.
For what's right. You know, I don't want to become as dust and we leave as dust, right? So by the time I leave, am I going to be the guy that walks by somebody getting robbed? Or you see it every day on TV, right? You walk by, how many times you walk by somebody that needs help? What?
Yeah.
No, I'm going in.
Absolutely.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
100% of the time, I'm going in.
Absolutely.
I'm not sitting back, and I'm not the one.
Yeah.
You know? That's not why he built me.
Yeah.
No, he built me.
Hey.
He built me to go in.
Be supposed to be meek, but not weak.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So,
You're chosen.
yeah,
go.
let's go. All right. So, thank you once again for being with
great.
us.
Yes.
great.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
All
you
right.
for sharing your story.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time on What's
Thank you.
Your Story. See you, everyone.
You can see the writing on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always, they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of the older generation. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling them wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling them wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.